Hello, my name is Grace Thornfrost, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing film called Mindhorn that you should all go and see. I don't think this disguise is working very well, especially as I'm wearing a Mindhorn outfit anyway, so I will remove this moustache. It was me all along! It was great. Welcome to Graphic Reviews. I'm here this week to review the new British comedy Mindhorn. Some of you may be familiar with UK comedy duo The Mighty Boosh. One half of that comedy duo has written and starred in this film. That is Julian Barratt himself, Howard Moon. Simon Farnaby, who's also in The Mighty Boosh quite a lot and is a regular on the British comedy scene. This is his concept and Julian Barratt has co-written it with him. He's also in the film as well. And one of the production companies that put out this film is Baby Cow, which is Steve Coogan's production company, and he is also in the film. For those of you who don't know who Steve Coogan is, he is Alan Partridge, and if you don't know who Alan Partridge is, then my goodness, you should Google Alan Partridge now and watch every single episode of every possible TV series that Alan Partridge is in. You should watch the film Alpha Papa, you should read the books, you should listen to the audiobooks because they're even better. Mindhorn, if you don't get British humour, then you probably won't like this film. It's set in the Isle of Man, and it centres around actor Richard Thorncroft, who back in the day was TV detective Mindhorn, whose eye is surgically made so that he can see the truth. So flash forward from 1989 to present day, and Richard Thorncroft is now having to be involved in a police case where the villain of the piece only will deal with Mindhorn himself, so he gets back into character. Now, as a concept, this sounds really wacky. You can imagine it's got hints of sort of an Edgar Wright sort of thing, mixed in with the Mighty Boosh sort of aesthetic and writing style. However, it's actually a completely fresh sort of delivery from everyone involved. I was kind of expecting, for those of you who know the Mighty Boosh quite well, I was expecting basically Howard Moon playing Richard Thorncroft, who plays Mindhorn, but instead Julian Barratt actually creates, although he has some sort of Boosh-esque lines, he actually creates a whole new fresh character and idea, which I think is great. Simon Farnaby is brilliant. The person I went to see this film with thought this character was South African. I had to point out to him he was from Holland. He was a topless, denim wearing stunt man. Steve Coogan plays Richard Thorncroft's nemesis in the film. It's a bit of a TV movie, but it's really great that it's got such a wide cinematic release, because it's a good weekend laugh at the cinema, and the soundtrack sounds great on big speakers and it looks good on a big screen. There's a lot of typically British humour, which is dry and quite, sarcastic in delivery. There are some twists in this film which I did not see coming, and everyone put in a really great performance, from the smaller characters to the lead. It was sad in points, it was happy in points, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. The film started with a sort of 80s kitsch sort of theme. It had played back lots of the old Mindhorn episodes, and it actually recreated sort of old videotape footage really well. The music was very of that time, and it kind of felt more like Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. For those of you who haven't seen Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, you should check it out. It's a TV series set in a hospital, but the whole thing's done to be set in the 80s. It's absolutely hilarious. It's got Matt Berry, Richard Ayoade, Alice Lowe. Following on actually from Matt Berry, this film had more of a sort of Toast of London kind of feel. Again, another really awesome British comedy. The tone of it was very present day. It was actually quite bleak in places, because there's this guy who he was really popular in this time, and he obviously had his heyday, and then went to try and make it in LA and just ends up back in drizzly Great Britain. And that, I think that's the really good thing about British comedy, and I think it's why British comedies are almost their own, have their own cult fan base, especially internationally, because it is a certain kind of humour that it's quite difficult to understand unless you've lived in drizzly Britain for a very long time. Yeah, there's a certain degree of cynicism, sarcasm, bitterness and overall grouchiness, which I think a British audience understands more than perhaps maybe an international one will, because there's not a lot of positivity. It's very much a British sense of humour, and I guess that's what we're famous for, is having our own sort of dry sense of humour, so that's good, I suppose. Go and see Mindhorn. It's definitely worth a watch. If you want to have one of those popcorn movies, you can just sit back, relax and get taken away with just a simple story. No big explosions, bit of gunfire, and there's a really hilarious stunt scene towards the end, which I'd really like to know in the comments what you all thought of that, because that cracked me up. Great to see Julian Barratt back on the big screen. He hasn't been in the cinemas probably since A Field in England, which was British director Ben Wheatley's film that he released both in cinemas and on streaming and TV all at the same time. Julian Barratt in his own right is a great writer and actor. Nathan Barley, for example, is again one of those cult TV series which is just so on point and is so relevant to today. In fact, you should all go and watch Nathan Barley because it is now. So yeah, great to see Julian Barratt on the big screen. I was hoping for a Mighty Boosh film. I did read last year that there were talks, but Noel Fielding unfortunately has taken a different career choice at the moment and is presenting the Great British Bake Off. I know which I'd rather watch anyway, and that is Mindhorn. Go and watch it now. You might find a screening near you where Julian Barratt and Simon Barnaby do a Q&A too. How exciting. Stay cool.